Welcome into Mississippi State Live here on the Voice of College Football Network. I'm your co-host, Andrew Miller, joined by my fellow co-host, Christian Ballard. Christian, we've picked like Thursday night has not been the best night for us to do this because 2 weeks in a row now, football on TV, and that kind of takes away from people wanting to join in on the conversation, I have to think.
What was that you were saying? I'm trying to put the game on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, that is very ironic because that's literally what I was talking about.
No, I know, man. I got you. I want to watch this Cowboys Eagles game a little bit, but no, I get you, man. Like, when the season gets going, people just want to watch the game, and hopefully we get a good crowd tonight as the show goes on. But overall, I don't blame them.
Also, I hate myself that I didn't pick up on your sarcasm. I'm usually good at that, and that's terrible on my end. No, look, to be fair, once we get into the season, Thursday night football typically sucks. Like the games are just continually garbage. But obviously tonight, NFL kickoff. I literally did my fantasy draft about 30 minutes ago as we talk, and yeah. Our quarterbacks are going at it because I know we're not in the same league with each other, but you got Jalen Hurts, I got Dak Prescott, both guys who played for the teams we cheered for, obviously. So we'll see how they fare. In week one, my ESPN fantasy app actually told me Drake May was more likely to score more points. He was my backup quarterback. Is more likely to score for week one. But, I mean, I got to start Dak. I mean, I can't not if that's going to be my guy for week one of the season. Yeah, I mean, we're just sitting around talking to nobody right now, which is fine. I don't mind. We can just talk ball. But it is the call-in show. I don't think there's a point in me laying out how to call in until we have people in the show. So we can just sit here. We're going to hang out for a few minutes. Yeah. Obviously, for the people who are going to go back and watch this, you're going to want us to talk ball. We'll see what point we get to. I guess let's just talk. There's football on. Christian, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys and the Eagles?
It's one of the bigger rivalries in the NFL for sure. Dates back to I don't know, the 50s or 60s, something like that. It's been around a while, and I know that those fan bases really don't like each other. It's always a good way to get the season started, and these are teams that you have the team that is competing for Super Bowls in the Eagles, the defending champs. Shout out to my guy Jalen Hurts and Saquon, love them, and at the same time, you got the Cowboys, the Super Bowl wannabes, and that's kind of how that rivalry is, at least for today. And it's been brewing for many, many years, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like either of these teams. I hate that Dak plays for the Cowboys. It really bothers me, but I don't like the Eagles either. And I honestly think Jalen Hurts winning a Super Bowl ring was like the worst thing that could happen for sports discourse. No offense to your guy, but he is not an elite quarterback. And now we have to listen to the Eagles fans say he's elite because he has a ring in a team sport when he is on a loaded roster and does almost nothing of consequence. Shout out to Sven. What's up, man? Glad to have you here. Hail State to you. Okay, now we can stop talking about the NFL. Well, I mean, we'll chat. Look, I'm sure people are going to be watching this throughout the night. So if anything interesting happens, I guess we can reference it as we're doing the show here. But yeah, for those of you joining in, which right now is one guy, but that works. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that notification bell so that you do know when we do go live. And hey, comment in the chat any of your thoughts. Of course, we have the link to join the stream. That option, and I see Sven's getting in here right now, so we'll add him to the stage here in just a sec. But for anyone else joining in, Trey Clark, what's up? It hasn't updated. That's why it hasn't showed more viewers. Like it still only shows one on here, which is thank you, StreamYard.
It takes, you learn after a while of StreamYard, man. It'll take a while to update, and I feel like it's getting slower. Like, they keep updating and changing how you can use StreamYard and what's new and all these features. How about updates, like
well, yeah, no,
viewership
I
and
would like
stuff.
It still shows one viewer, which is kind of, well, I guess that actually might make sense because if Sven's joining the stream, he might have popped off of YouTube for a second.
It might, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anyone who wants to join the stream, we got the link pinned to the top of the chat. It is also in the description of the video. Just join in, keep the camera turned off, and we'll be able to add you to the stage. Okay, no, he's still here. So yeah, StreamYard is lying to us. That's very weird. StreamYard is a liar, or I guess YouTube Live is a liar. It doesn't really matter. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. But yeah. We've got a couple ways you can join the stream. Link pinned to the top of the comments, also in the description of the video. Keep the camera turned off, and we'll let you guys get in and give your thoughts. Again, Mississippi State against Arizona State weekend, but I know our guy Sven here, as we'll add him in. He had big expectations for Mississippi State in week one. Like, pretty pressure was on for Jeff Lebby in his eyes in terms of week one. So how did one were you pleased with the week one performance?
Nope. Absolute horrific, terrible. And I tell you why.
Go ahead.
I was pleased with the effort. I was pleased with the run game. And I was pleased with Blake Shapen. But I was not pleased with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
They made a little step, but to allow a 1-11 Sunbelt team to hang around that long is atrocious. This team won one game, is in rebuild year one. And first of all, we allowed 17 points against a last place Sunbelt team. And we only scored 34. This is nowhere near SEC level. If we play, and I mean this, I'm a diehard Mississippi State fan. I've been around here, Ballard knows this, for 10 years. And I was the lonely Mississippi State guy here for years and years and years and years. So if Mississippi State plays like Saturday against Arkansas, they blow us out by 50. I can tell you that. So in Arizona State, there's only one way we can beat Arizona State. We have to run the ball, and we have to make Isaac Smith as a pass rusher.
Let me get in here for a sec. I got to ask you, because you said you're displeased with the defense. Do you not think it's more the offense's fault that the game was as close as it was for a half? Because let's be clear, 3 of those points in the first half came off of an interception, and the defense immediately forced a 3 and out. And then the other touchdown drive came in the fourth quarter with the backups in. So really, they only gave up one good drive to Southern.
Andrew, we played a 1-11 Sunbelt team in rebuild year one, and Marshall, Coach Huff, didn't bring in not a single O-liner from this Marshall team, not a single one. These O-liners are old Southern Miss guys. So, and
the offensive line, it's all transfers. I know they're not Marshall guys, but
he didn't bring in one O-liner from the championship team. And I mean, it was a step in the right direction, but it was not the step I hoped to see. I mean, we have a veteran quarterback, a really good quarterback. He won the Big 12, for crying out loud. Blake Shapen is a Big 12 champion. So we have 2 stud running backs. And we can't even blow out Southern Miss in the first half. I mean, I know it was the first game. It was hot. It was sticky. But this is not enough for the SEC. And I'm not against Lebby or Coleman Hutzler or against the team. I'm realistic. This is not enough. We saw it last year. We beat Western Kentucky or whatever this was, the School of the Blind, by 150, and the next week we got spanked. This is not enough, guys. This is by far not enough. We may have a chance if Tennessee has a bad day. But if we can't stop Sam Levitt on Saturday, he will run for 200 yards, like Scadaboo did. We have to stop Levitt. And if we can stop Levitt, we will win the game. I can guarantee you this. They have no outside weapons.
I don't agree with that. Oh, I was going to let you keep going, but Jordan Tyson is a playmaker.
Yeah, but Levitt doesn't throw the ball. He only runs. He can't throw the ball.
He throws it to Jordan Tyson. Caught 12 passes in the last game.
Yeah, against who? Arkansas North or Arkansas Central or whatever it was, or North Arizona.
Arizona, but man, Jordan Tyson was a 1,000-yard receiver a season ago.
Or Tupelo High School. I mean, Arizona State will come into Starkville and will establish the run. And if we can stop the run, we will win the game. I guarantee you this.
Let me say this. So I do agree with your overarching point that the performance on Saturday would not be enough. I do agree with that. I disagree that it's on the defense. I think the offense is what was having problems in the first half more than anything else. And I don't mind Southern look, sometimes teams are going to put together a drive. Let's not forget the one long touchdown drive Southern had against the first string. They caught a fluke touchdown.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Play. And I put it more on the offense personally. The offense did not come out executing the way they needed to in the first half. The first drive, yes, they had a big play, but then the rest of the way in the first half they struggled.
You mean the Traore touchdown?
Yeah, they hit that play.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the first half was pretty ugly from the offense.
Yeah,
a lot of mistakes. But I just don't put it on the defense personally. I think if the offense had come out cleaner, you would have seen it. The game would have been out of reach at halftime. And
I forgot one point.
Go ahead.
The pre-game penalties, the pre-snap penalties. This was absurd.
Yes.
This was absolute nuts. I mean, how many penalties we had? 13, 14?
14.
Yeah. Arizona State, by the way, had 12. The same problem.
It is interesting. These teams had the same problem in week one.
I just watched Haydad made an interview with a guy, Haydad from Super Talk, Mississippi, Brian Haydad. Haydad just made an interview with a guy from Arizona State, and I watched it.
I listened as well.
Yeah, and he said they had massive problems, and they have to run the ball. I mean,
I think they're going to want to. They're definitely going to want to try to after last year. But yeah, both teams are going to have to clean up a lot. Both teams need their offensive lines to play better. And look, State's defense, I will say this.
They look better.
I personally thought they played well against Southern Miss overall. That was just me. But I will say they're about to get tested a lot more against Arizona State. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I would say this real quick. I want to jump in. I think with Mississippi State, it wasn't the perfect game that you would expect against a team like Southern Miss. But to have a score like that and to win by multiple possessions after a struggling season last year, I mean, you got off to the start you wanted. So, sorry to cut you off.
Ballard, let me put it this way. We won the game. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's very good. It's 50% of the wins we had last year. And I expect that we beat Alcorn and NIU. So, but to get the fan base on board, you have to put at least a mega fight. If you lose to Arizona State, let's say 21-20, the fan base will be behind Lebby. I can tell you that. but we can't risk to get blown out by multiple touchdowns, by 10 or 40 or 14 or 20 points. And this is the game for this year. This is the game. If we can beat Arizona State, the donors will come, the people will come, and against Tennessee, I guarantee you this. If we beat Arizona State, Tennessee is a sellout. The first sellout since the Moorhead-Mullen game. I can guarantee you this.
Good chance
and this
for
is
sure.
And this is important. Mississippi State needs momentum. And I talked today to Matt Wyatt. He's a former quarterback from Mississippi State, and he makes a radio show. And I'm always on his show. And I talked to him a lot. And he said it was okay. It was okay. But this is nothing to be proud of.
Well, I think that's fair.
We are the SEC team. We spent $18 million on this team. So, and Southern Miss spent maybe $5 million, maybe.
Oh, I don't think they spent that much. No, look. Let me say this. I'm not saying be proud of State's performance in Week 1. I just think I can point to a few things that's like why they got off to a slow start in the first half. And I felt like they cleaned a lot of that up in the second half. And then if the team that played in the second half is where you go from here forward, I feel a little bit better. Now, if what you saw in the first half and all those self-inflicted mistakes, 100%, you're right. You're going to be in trouble. But
the defense in the second half was absolute perfect for this, what they can do. But the first half was atrocious. But the problem is, you can allow yourself as a Mississippi State to play atrocious on defense against a Sunbelt team. But if you do this against Arizona State and a top 5 quarterback, he kills you. You get killed. It's like in Tempe, it was 27-3 or what was it? Or 30-3?
Got to
30-3. Yeah, 30-3. So, and the game was over at halftime. So, and the defense has to be ready first snap against these teams. I mean, and I even want to say Arizona State is not an elite team. They are a very good team. They are not even elite. They are the second worst team we face at home outside of the Cupcakes this year. It's Tennessee, Arizona State, so Ole Miss, Texas, and then Georgia.
I don't completely disagree. And I agree with you that they're not elite. They are a very good team, but they're not an elite team. There are tiers to this. I don't know if I might still have them ahead of Ole Miss. I think that, and that's not me trying to be anti-Ole Miss. It's just I think they're a little bit more proven than Ole Miss to me. But Ole Miss could end up being really good, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I like the quarterback from Ole Miss, Austin Simmons.
Good player, yeah.
I really like him, and I liked what I saw. I mean, even as a Mississippi State fan, I don't hate Ole Miss. I dislike them. Let me say it this way. So, but I give credit where it's due. And Ole Miss is a good team. So, and our defense has to step up. Snap one, be ready, and go for it. So, and if they play like in the second half, we have a chance. But if they play like in the first half, we get blown out. I can guarantee you this. This is my problem.
I hear you. I won't disagree with that. I'm willing to see week 1 to week 2 if they're just a little bit more settled. But 100%.
A real step. I mean, Lebby will show them what was wrong, what was good, what did the coaches wrong, what did the players wrong. He will talk about the pre-snap penalties. So, and we go from there. But for me, I want to win 6 games this year.
And
Is it realistic? Yeah. Is it realistic? Maybe not. But if we can beat Arizona State, we are going with 4-0 into Tennessee game. And Heupel, I mean, he's a good coach, but Heupel has a problem on the road, a real problem. And he lost to Arkansas. He lost at Kentucky. He lost at Florida. And the list is endless of his failures on the road. And he blows Alabama out at home. He gives Georgia a game at home. It's crazy.
Can I cut in here?
Of course.
Can I got to try to straighten my face up when I say this. Otherwise, people aren't going to believe what I'm saying. But I promise you, I'm telling you the truth when I say that I see no reason Mississippi State can't win the Arizona State game this week. Think about it, man. You lose a couple key pieces, including Cam Scatterbo, for Arizona State. And if you look back to last year's matchup, right, not to go like completely off of last year, it was only a 7-point loss, and Chapin still threw for over 200 yards. And
Yeah.
Andrew, I know we had broken down the game on Monday and everything, but you know, I'm gonna go bold here and say Mississippi State pulls an upset. I mean, if Mississippi State is better than 2-10, which I think they are they a better team than Arizona State? Probably not. But you get the game at night at home this week. And this is an Arizona State team that I think is still trying to figure out their identity this year. And I wouldn't put my life savings or anything on them to even make or win the Big 12, would you? I mean,
They
I
will
know that's a
not.
wide open conference, but
They will not.
there's a real I think Mississippi State is the only team standing in their own way in this game. And I have a feeling that this team could be mature and well built to win some big games like this. Are they going to hit
But,
a bowl game? I don't know, but I
but
feel like this is a good step forward to do it. And I'm going to call an upset.
but you miss a critical point. One critical point.
Okay.
Arizona State, and Andrew will tell you this, because I'm sure he saw the game against Arizona State. So Arizona State in the second half took the foot off the gas.
Mm-hmm.
They were up by 4 touchdowns, and they took simply the foot off the gas. They said, "Okay, the game is in the books. Let's rest the people and make sure we get no injuries, because this game was it was hot as hell. We had multiple people who had cramps, and the game was over at halftime, literally. Scatterboo was unreal. He was absolutely unreal. And our chance is Cam Scatterboo is not longer there. He's with the New York Giants, who are better, by the way, as the Dallas Cowboys. And the only rusher they have is Sam Levitt. And if Isaac Smith or a decent linebacker can get after Levitt and sack him, because when he is a runner, you can bring him down hard, really hard, then we have a chance. But we have to stop the run. If we can stop the run, we will win the game. And we will win the game by a good margin, by 10 points or something like that. But if we can't stop Levitt to run the ball, we are cooked.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is totally fair. I mean, I'm going to do the keys to the game a little bit later in the show, and definitely containing Levitt is going to be a big part of it. I will say that I do think they still have some talent at running back, even with Scatterboo gone. But the biggest threat for sure is Levitt, and containing him is going to be a big deal in terms of them being able to have success. And you're right. Look, last year it was, as much as I think people will point to State's offense getting into a bit of a groove, and the defense started loading the box a little bit. Like, yeah, those things helped, but at the same time, Arizona State, to your point, I definitely think a team in that moment got up big at home in the second half, and it was like, we can just cruise. And
Chill
what I
out.
will always go to is that when Arizona State had to put the drive together at the end of the game to close it out, they were able to. In that moment. So that's going to be big for State. Could this year, I mean, can you be consistent right off the gates in terms of being able to move the football? And defensively, can you contain Arizona State, slow them down, and limit what they can do? This is going to be a big, big measuring stick early in the season. And I'll go back to something you said earlier. There's no doubt that this game is massive in terms of what it can mean for setting up the rest of the season. And you talk about you want to go to a bowl game. If they want to go to a bowl, yeah, this is probably a game you almost certainly have to have. So it's a big opportunity for sure. And State's going to need to be fully locked in going into this game.
Yeah. Okay, guys. It's 2:26. I will get on the couch and listen to you, and you can kick me out. By the way, Ballard,
Yeah.
if you want to hear something, I was yesterday on Kangaroo's Black's show.
Okay.
You know Kangaroo Black?
Yeah, the Alabama fan.
Yeah. And I looked the live show up and catch the last 20 minutes. I had a nice chat with him. He's a nice guy. I
That's
like
good.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. I don't know if I've ever actually gotten to speak to him, but he runs a good channel over there, man. I'm glad you found him.
Yeah. I like him.
Yeah.
You are the only Alabama fan I know outside of Black. There are no in our community. Andrew doesn't know that, but in our community, Ballard, there are UGA fans. One Mississippi. You know the guys. Huh?
Yeah.
So and you are the only bummer, and then it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, guys, I wish we win, and I give you a prediction: Mississippi State 27, Arizona State 17.
Ooh, I would take that. I would take that all day.
Love that.
I told you, Fluff Boswell and Devin Booth, each around 20 carries, put the third running back on top with 4 or 5 carries. You have a quarterback for short runs in Kamario Taylor. Our run game is elite. I really call it elite. So if the O-line can a little bit block, and if our defense holds Levitt under 70 yards, we will win by 10. Shaden is good enough to cough them up.
We'll definitely have to see on that. Sven, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining
Always.
Joining
Have
in.
a nice day.
Definitely look forward to more conversation going forward. You did set me up a little bit here, though, because I do think there's a – sorry, I'm trying to just hold on. Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to remove from the thing. I have some interesting thoughts on State's offense and their approach in this game, and we'll get into that here in just a sec. If anybody else wants to join in, again, we have the link pinned to the top of the chat. It is also in the description to the video, and you can join in, give us your thoughts if you've got them. But I do think that sets me up. Let's get into the keys to the game as we're here. And we'll start on the defensive side of the ball. And the first big key for me, and by the way, if anybody wants to join in the middle of this, that's fine. There's no deal cutting me off. First big key to the game for me for Mississippi State is containing Jordan Tyson. He is Arizona State's top offensive playmaker this season. He is probably going to be one of the top wide receivers taken in the NFL draft this upcoming year. He's a guy that can win one-on-one outside. He's a great possession receiver. He can win in contested catch situations. I think if you watched Arizona State last week, there were so many times Levitt was just throwing it up to Tyson even when he was covered. And really just did a great job of he's did a great job of going out and finding ways to come down with the football. He is someone that they will move around. They'll put him in the slot. They'll put him into different spaces so they can get him some easy touches, throw screens to him. He is the featured playmaker in their offense. And for Mississippi State's defense, I think containing him has got to be priority number one, because while there are other playmakers on this Arizona State offense, I do think even without Cam Scadaboo, Kyson Brown and Malik Brown in the backfield are two very talented running backs, both of whom could be a factor in the passing game. They have a tight end, Mateer, who's a really good player, who didn't get involved much in the last game, but that's a guy that he had 5 touchdowns a season ago, and that's someone that they want to throw to. And I know they've got a couple of receivers, which one of them, I think his last name's Moss, is sort of dealing with some injuries, so they're going to see whether or not he can play. They've got some other pass catchers as well they think they can get involved. None of those guys come close to what Jordan Tyson brings. And if you watch their passing game, again, everything is built around get the ball to Jordan Tyson. He's going to be the primary read on basically every single drop back, unless it's just a change-up play where they want to get a look to somebody else. He is who Leavitt is going to zero in on the overwhelming majority of the time. And if you watch Leavitt in the pocket, when his first read is not there, it's not that he can't get to other reads. He's like a tick slow, and he doesn't look as comfortable. He really wants to throw to that first read, which is Jordan Tyson. And that was very evident in this last game. And to the point that even when he was getting outside the pocket and just having to try to create something, it was quite literally the definition of F it, Jordan Tyson is down there somewhere, and just throwing it up to him. And Jordan Tyson, to his credit, comes down with those passes. But I think if you were Mississippi State, priority number one has got to be for Sam Leavitt to have to throw the football to anyone other than Jordan Tyson. Now, he's not a guy that you're going to be able to completely take away. But, look, State's corners played really well against USM. They've got to play really well in this game. State safeties have to play well, too, because, as I mentioned, they will put him in the slot. All right? It's not just a case of the corners on the outside. They will move him around to find matchups. And if a guy like Brian Lanier or Isaac Smith is not going to hold up well in coverage, like, they're going to have a rough day. Now, Lanier, I thought, played really well all this past Saturday as well against USM. And Isaac Smith, we know what type of player he is. Although, look, Isaac Smith, I don't think against a top receiver in coverage is a matchup I necessarily want to see. So State's going to have to be wary of that. They're going to have to find ways to contain him. But I think that is going to be priority number one on defense for Sam Leavitt to have to throw to somebody not named Jordan Tyson in this game. I think State's best chances offensively come down to that. My second – go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I agree with you, especially considering this past game for State. I was actually very pleased to see that it wasn't just Isaac Smith back there in the secondary, and that Brylan Lanier stepped up pretty big, having an interception in that last game. But you can continue on, man. I was just saying that I agree with you for sure, and I do think that they're going to have to take away Arizona State's key weapons in terms of just, recognizing that they're built for moments like this, I think. And I think they proved that last week against Southern Miss.
I think Arizona State, for as much talent as they have, they're very much the definition of an offense where a lot of their functioning comes down to a couple playmakers. And what I mean by that is their success offensively is dictated by whether or not their top guys get involved, typically. And you may not need both of them, but like last year it was a lot of, okay, either Cam Scadaboo's running wild or we're going to Jordan Tyson. If we get both, the offense is going to be awesome. If we get one of the two, we have a chance. This year, again, I think they have other talented playmakers, but they have not shown somebody else to the level of a Cam Scadaboo yet, even though I do think they got some good running backs. They've got to prove that somebody other than Jordan Tyson can be the guy on offense that they can force feed touches to and have success with. Key number 2, and this is the other part of it, and I know Sven was talking about it here just a second ago. You have to contain Sam Leavitt. You cannot let his legs be a determining factor in this game. He is a very dangerous dual threat. He is very fast in the open field. Last year, he got State on a couple of scrambles where they thought they had him taken away, and he was able to make a guy miss and go pick up yardage. He is dangerous making those plays off script, both with the scrambles and then also keeping the play alive and finding Jordan Tyson open down the field. And again, as I mentioned, Jordan Tyson being open may not literally mean open. It's mean Jordan Tyson will just go find a way to catch the football. You have to contain Levitt. You cannot let him scramble around. I think keeping him in the pocket is your best bet because, again, if you can get him off his first read, and what I'm talking about here would mean we are taking away Jordan Tyson and we are containing Sam Levitt. So I'm getting him off his first read, and I'm not letting him scramble around. That's where I think he gets into trouble because he doesn't speed things up enough, and that's where I think your pass rush can get home. Sam Levitt, if you let him throw to Jordan Tyson and you let him scramble around, Mississippi State defense is going to get lit up on Saturday. Those are the two big – you have got to contain Jordan Tyson as much as possible, and you cannot let Sam Levitt play superhero ball just running around all day. Like those have got to be the two big things you focus on. If you keep Sam Levitt in the pocket, I think you have a better chance of coming out successful in this game, as so long as you're not letting him just immediately throw it to Tyson or throw to his first read, play after play. Any thoughts on that, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, it almost makes you think of, and I'm trying to think of a good example here, but we have seen teams in college football in recent years. Like, I think Alabama's a terrible example because they've had tons of receivers. But, again, there's been teams over the years in college football where you had your quarterback for Arizona State at Sam Levitt, and then you have your go-to wide receiver. For them, it's Jordan Tyson. If you take those guys away, especially I think if you you could probably even put their backup quarterback in, which I don't even know who it is. And you could still have Jordan Tyson. They probably still get the job done. But you're gonna if you could take them, I'm not saying like get them hurt, get them out of the game. I'm not saying that, but if you can contain them defensively, if you're Mississippi State, I think you win this game. I think you win that battle, and you'll make them look very pedestrian.
Yeah, I think it is about limiting Arizona State as much as possible. Their backup, I will say, is Jeff Sims, who is somehow still in college football, and he is a fumble and turnover machine. So I would say if the backup's in, they're probably going to lose. But
Jeff Sims,
I can't. Former Georgia Tech pseudo legend, went to Nebraska and was basically single-handedly lost them that Colorado game in the first half because they were stopping the Colorado offense, and then Sims just kept fumbling. Jeff,
not to cut you off, Sven says the Julio Jones team. Yeah, that was a good example. 2008 Alabama, you take him away, we're probably not in that SEC title game. But anyway.
You had Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of that same way, like having those two guys. And to be fair, look, I'm not criticizing their offensive approach because if you've got two guys who are big-time weapons on offense, it's really hard to be stopped. And we saw that from them. Like you can run offense in college if you have two big-time players who can both hurt a defense and like you can just spam touches to, you're probably going to win a lot of games and or at least be really good offensively. And they had it a year ago. We'll see if they have it this year. But containing Jordan Tyson got to be priority number one. Stopping Sam Levitt from being able to scramble around has got to be priority number two. My third, and this is where I'm going to be controversial, and I know Sven was talking about this earlier, and I'm going to kind of not fully go against what he was saying, but I'm also kind of going against the grain of what I think a lot of the narrative has been. Because I'm going to go over to the offensive side of the ball. I think Mississippi State's key to winning offensively is protecting Blake Shapen and giving him time in the passing game. I know everyone is going to talk about the run game. And I totally, like, there's this mindset of, like, every game Mississippi State has got to go into it with, like, establish the run mentality, feed those talented running backs, and, like, they got to get the run game rolling. And if you get the run game rolling, that's going to open up everything offensively. That's going to be the narrative going into every single game for Mississippi State. And I understand it. Look, for one, the running backs, like, that is the positional strength of the team. Those are superstar potential players. You definitely have to give them touches and find ways to get them involved. Obviously, this is an offense where I think I'm not going to use the word it's a run first or run heavy system, but it is a system that thrives on run pass conflict. specifically, the way they have success offensively is by putting defenses in a situation where they basically have to pick and choose between defending the run or defending the pass. It's really hard to do both against this system. It's sort of the idea of how it's set up. So it's built around creating run-pass conflict. And in order to have that conflict, you better have a run game that the defense actually fears. And look, we have seen in Lebby's short time here, but also with other teams that run this offense, it is at its most consistent and effective when the run game is a real threat. Now, it is not necessarily a deal where it's the only way you can have success offensively. Mississippi State put 31 points on the board in Athens last year without any sort of a run game because they just kept hitting bombs down the field. And this offense gives you the chance to hit those shots down the field. But in terms of consistency, having the run game is a big deal. So I understand all that. And obviously, a season ago, Mississippi State in this game rushed for about 26 yards. Now, a lot of that was Shapen taking sacks. But even like the running backs, the leading rusher had like 30, 40 yards. Like they did not run the football effectively in this game last year, and it hurt them. I understand all of that. Here's why I am not focusing on the run game as what has to be priority number one for Mississippi State offensively in terms of a key to the game. Arizona State's strength defensively is stopping the run. They were the top rushing defense in the Big 12 a year ago, have a very good defensive front, really good group of defensive linemen that are good against the run, good linebackers, good safeties that'll get involved. They kind of play defense dictating around stopping the run game. That is priority number one for what they want to do on defense. Take away the run game. That puts a lot of pressure on their secondary to play aggressive, and you'll see those numbers where you'll see like the secondary can generate some big plays with some turnovers, pass deflections, don't give up a lot of completions. But there's the other side to it where they're at times susceptible to the passing game. You can find opportunities throwing the football against them. And I think we kind of saw that with Mississippi State in this game a season ago. State was able to throw it on them a little bit, more so in the second half. But when Shapen was protected and was not under pressure last year, State was able to throw it in this game a little bit. And if you look at the teams Arizona State played a season ago, the ones who had the most success offensively were the ones that were able to throw the football on them. Week 1, Northern Arizona, they found success throwing the football against Arizona State. You're going to get some one-on-one opportunities outside. You're going to find some space underneath against them. That's kind of how they want to play. And I think if you're Mississippi State, I'm not saying don't run the football. I'm not saying you shouldn't look to find success on the ground because, yes, those running backs are guys you have to get involved. And when you get looks to run the ball, when it's a light box or when there's just a favorable, like, hey, hand off into this, absolutely you better be able to hand it off and get 4, 5, 6 yards with consistency because last year you couldn't do that. Last year teams would give State those looks and it was like 2, 3 yards or 0 yards because they couldn't block it up front. You need to block better in the run game. You've got to be able to run it when you have looks to in this game. You got to be able to convert in short yardage when you can in this game. But on a down-by-down basis, I think State's best opportunities against Arizona State are actually going to come through the air. And I don't think State's mentality going into this game needs to be establish the run game first, like let's get the run game rolling. I think the mindset going into this game needs to be, one, let's take what's there. Like, obviously, this is an offense that's built around taking what the defense gives you. But two, let's keep shaping upright and see if we can find something. Now, obviously, that still puts pressure on the offensive line because they've got to hold up against a talented defensive front of Arizona State. A group that, though, to be fair, not like the best pass rushers. They've got good defensive linemen, but they didn't always get home last year. Now, they feel they're better at that this season. And against Mississippi State, they got home because State's offensive line was cheeks last year. You'll see. We'll have to see if that's the same situation in this game because, look, Southern Miss a few times was able to get pressure in week 1. So we'll have to see on that. But I still tend to go into this game. I understand why everyone is focusing on the run game. I think State's best chances offensively are going to come throwing the football. Not saying don't run it, not saying don't feed your tailbacks, but I think having a mentality of just hand the ball off because that's just what we need to do is not the right approach to take in this game. I think State should look to protect Shapen, find some ways to get your receivers involved because I think that's where your best opportunities at moving the ball are going to come from. And I know that runs counterintuitive to what a lot of people are saying. I think it runs counterintuitive to the way people interpreted some of the messaging of the offseason because I think I think there was a little bit of a disconnect between what people saw Mississippi State and Jeff Lebby doing and saying in the offseason with the roster additions and some of the messaging, and then what I think that translates to. What I mean is you see Mississippi State bulk up the offensive line, and now they're going to have one of the biggest offensive lines in college football this year, or they do. You see them go out and add a Fluff Bothwell, who's a big physical runner. You see some of the tight end additions. And you hear Jeff Lebby talking about wanting to be able to run the football. And I think that got everyone this mindset of, oh, they want to mash teams this year. They want to be a run-first, run-heavy team. Everything's built around the run game this year. That's the mentality. I don't think that's actually what the mentality is. And to be clear, if I'm wrong on this, I'm just wrong. I could be misinterpreting this myself. But I think those moves were more of a case for State of looking at this and saying, when we have looks to run the football, we've got to be able to run the football. Because last year they couldn't. So when we have a light box from the defense, when we have even numbers, 2 high safeties, we should be able to hand it off and find success, because last year we couldn't do that with consistency. Teams should not be willing to just concede the run game to Mississippi State. And I think that's where State's emphasis came from. What I don't think the mindset was going to the offseason is we're just going to be a run-heavy team. It's like run, run, run. That is the mindset of this team. I think they still want the passing game to be a huge part of what they do. I still think they want to be able to lean on it. I think when we have looks to throw the football, they want to be able to throw the football effectively. And it's not just about setting up the pass. It's about taking what the defense gives you on any given play. I think, to me, that's how I interpreted the moves they made this offseason. And I will be curious to see in this game because, again, as I've talked about, I think Arizona State is a team where they are most gettable through the air. I want to see if State's able to take advantage of that.
I think, I think for Arizona State's defense, I would trust their defensive front. Like, I'm totally trusting that front seven for Arizona State. I'm not really trusting so much the secondary. Some guys that I look at here so far this year, really, senior Jordan Crook, 5 solo tackles already through, I guess, one game. Everyone's played one game. And he had a sack. You say, well, he only had 1 sack. Okay. There's a lot of games. There's a lot of defensive players that would kill to just get to the quarterback one time. Elijah O'Neal, by the way, is a defensive lineman, number 9. Watch him. 3 solo tackles and a sack last week. They have guys that can get after Blake Shapen. They have guys that can get to the backfield to stop our run game with Devon Booth and Fluff Bothwell. So, they're going to pressure Blake Shapen in the passing game. They're also going to stop you in the run game. So I think another page of this is, the offensive line for Mississippi State, and we've talked about that pretty much every week this offseason, leading into the season. They got to be at their best this week to give Blake Shapen and company the best possible chance to succeed on the field. And again, we're not asking you to go score every play on an 80-yard bomb, but you got to be able to make those key big plays downfield to at least set yourself up for that so that you can score. So Arizona State's got the dudes on defense. I still got to see it against some really good quality competition. I know they played a small team last week, but this is a big test, I think, for Arizona State's defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if they could pass it.
There's no doubt that whether State is going to run or throw the football, the offensive line is going to get tested in this game. Like, State's offensive line has got to step up. If they are going to lean on the run game, then okay, this is a front that you better show it against because this is a good front. But if they are throwing the football, which I think might be what you see a little bit more of in this game, you got to give Shapen time in the pocket. You can't be getting beat off the edge, and that's going to be where, I don't think he's going to play this week. I think Blake Steen will probably still be out, but which means Timothy Lewis, all right, man, left tackle, assuming you're the guy there, that's going to be a big test for you, first big-time competition. And then Albert Reese at right tackle. Have you grown from where you were a season ago at that spot? If that's the group you're running out there. If Steen's healthy, he'll be at right tackle, and you'll have Albert Reese left, and we'll see how it goes. But I think Timothy Lewis, Albert Reese, they're going to be tested big time in this game. State's offensive line has got to step up. Let's make our predictions for the week. We'll say one final time if anybody wants to get in and chat for just a sec. Link is pinned to the top of the chat, and we also have the link in the description to the video as we're about to make our picks for the week. Taking a look at how we did a week ago, both of us winning records. I went 7-3, Christian 8-2. The one area where Christian had the edge, I think it was the only game we picked differently. He took Ohio State, I took Texas. So he is 8-2 on the week. I'm 7-3. The losses, obviously, I had Texas, so that was a loss. We were both wrong about Clemson, LSU getting the win, and obviously we both took Alabama to beat Florida State, and that did not happen. So week 2, not the most loaded slate of games, but there are some interesting matchups, and we'll start with the SEC games, not including the Mississippi State matchups. Number 20, Ole Miss goes on the road to Lexington. Kentucky early last year kind of spoiled the Ole Miss season and put them in a rough spot. Christian, can Ole Miss get revenge from last year? Will they?
Can they? Yes. I think that's a given. I think going into this game, I think going into the season, yes, they have lost some key players like Jackson Dart or whoever. We've talked a little bit about Ole Miss on this show. I think they're a better program. I think they're a better team, and I think that they got the coaching advantage with Lane Kiffin. I think Ole Miss is in a good spot to get the win. I think that they also will get the win. I know it's Georgia State to give up a touchdown to them. Okay, cool, but 63 points. Again, I know it's not really quality competition. Austin Simmons threw for 341 yards, did throw 2 picks, which doesn't impress me. Um, but he was 20 of 31, 341 yards, and 3 passing touchdowns to help put 63 points up on the board. And then Kawan Lacey, watch this guy, 16 carries and 3 rushing touchdowns for him. Again, it's going to be a different challenge. But even though Mark Stoops is still the coach of Kentucky, before I start saying anything good about them, and I'm not trying to like diss on them or anything, but they're not the Kentucky that we're used to seeing. But at the same time, this is a good test for the Wildcats to show that, hey, we can get back and be that 7 or 8 win team. Possibly even 9.
I'm going to take the Rebels. I don't think Kentucky's very good. I think their defense, look, Ole Miss playing on the road, I could see Kentucky being able to get a few stops and keep this thing a little bit more low scoring, but I also just don't think Kentucky can score. And I don't know that Kentucky's defense is better than the Ole Miss defense. So I'll take the Ole Miss offense as most likely to be able to get it done, and I'll take Ole Miss in the game. The return of the border war, Kansas at Missouri. Big-time rivalry from eons ago that is finally returning after many years without playing. These two schools absolutely despise each other. If you've seen their fan bases on social media, it has been very funny to watch. Jayhawks and Tigers. Christian, who do you got?
Missouri has a 64% chance to win this game on ESPN. They are at home. They are favored by 6.5. Do not sleep on the Jayhawks, though. I love that quarterback, Jalen Daniels. I love their offense. Not so much on their defense. Earlier this week in my pick, I picked Missouri. I'm going to lean Kansas right now. Final answer, I got Kansas with the upset. I think it could be a pretty interesting game. I trust their offense a little bit more. I think defensively, I don't really trust Kansas. I have questions about Missouri. But I could see this being a pretty good shootout style game. Maybe it's not in the 50s or anything, but maybe in the 30s somewhere. I don't know about a final score, but I think Kansas has enough that they could go on the road and get a dub.
I think Missouri's defense is significantly better. And while, yes, Jalen Daniels is a fun player and that Kansas offense finds ways to make things happen, I think they're going to have a hard time finding a ton of success against the Missouri defense, especially playing on the road. And while, yeah, I've got a lot of questions about the Mizzou offense, Kansas defensively does not scare me. I will take Missouri to get the win at home in the rivalry. Don't know that they cover, but we're not picking against the spread. We're just picking straight up here. So give me Mizzou. South Florida at number 13, Florida. Probably only included this because South Florida, week 1 week ago from right now, we were sitting here watching South Florida light up Boise State, which none of us really saw coming. Can they do it against Florida? A bigger step up in competition? Are the Gators on upset alert?
They could be, but I'm not going to roll the dice on that. I like Florida big in this game. I say that. I don't know. I think they'll be all right. They'll give up some points to USF. You got to be careful with USF. They have played some SEC teams in recent years and given some scares. But the thing about the Bulls is they don't finish the job. I don't see that being a game this week that they can finish the job. So give me the Gators big time in this one.
I will also take Florida. I think USF last week, I don't know how many people follow Parker Fleming at Stats of War on Twitter, but he does the every week, the Did We Really Get Beat That Bad graphic, which basically looks at net success rate being percentage of your plays that are successful, which I think for him, some people define it differently, but I believe for him it's EPA greater than 0. So did you have a positive EPA on a play, and that's how you deem it as successful, EPA being expected points added for those who don't know. And basically what you see is you get some obvious games. For example, TCU versus North Carolina, where, yeah, TCU beat the crap out of North Carolina on the scoreboard, and if you look at the success rate, TCU beat the crap out of North Carolina. And the reason you boil this down is to see if there's anything that weird about the outcome. Boise State had despite losing, I think it was 34-7, whooped USF on success rate. Now, USF dominated the game because they were +3 in turnovers. They had a touchdown on a fake punt, and they hit a bunch of explosive plays. Those are obviously the game-winning plays, game-changing plays. Boise State failed to convert in the key opportunities, and Boise State gave a bunch of big plays. But Boise State moved the ball more consistently than USF did. USF was really struggling to move the ball throughout that game. Just happened to have a few big plays go their way. I say all this to say, against Florida and an SEC defense, I don't think they're going to have the big plays to bail them out. I will take the Gators to get the win. I know that's a big setup for this game shouldn't even be all that close, but I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by that. But if you are thinking this is a sneaky, interesting matchup, I would love to see it. It'd be fun, but I think Florida probably wins this thing comfortably. The game of the weekend, top 20 matchup, number 15, Michigan goes on the road to Norman to take on the 18th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. Bryce Underwood looked very good in his debut for Michigan. John Mateer, up and down day for Oklahoma, put up a bunch of yards, but I know that there was a lot of lot coming back where it felt like they missed some opportunities in that game. Two good defenses, two teams that are, again, working out new offenses, new quarterbacks. Ballard, which way do you go?
Ooh. I went ahead and previewed this a couple of days ago on my show, and I didn't know. I don't think it's a coin flip now, but at the moment, I felt like it was a coin flip. I think it's going to be one of those small shootouts. You don't see a whole lot of points. You see it back and forth, but you're going to see some punts and some defensive plays here or there. You're going to see teams that want to kill the clock and run the ball quite a bit. I do like Bryce Underwood. I think that he's still got a long way to go, but at the same time, I think that he's very talented. He's looking pretty good. I think Oklahoma's in a good spot too. That being said, I'm going to take Michigan at the Big House. Also, I'll put a bonus here, Andrew.
It's in Norman.
It's in Norman?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was in the Big House. That's my bad. I mean, I know it was in Norman the other day, but it just – anyway, I'm going to take the road team. I'm taking Michigan, and I'll even give you a bonus. They break the tie at the end with a field goal, 31-28. Hold me to it.
I will hold you to it because I will be shocked if that many points get scored in this game.
Really?
Yeah, two good defenses, man. And here's my
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
You've got Underwood, a very talented. It's a true freshman quarterback on the road against a Brent Venables defense. And OU's defense is legit. Like, this is not the Sooners team that we remember from Lincoln Riley days. They got some dudes up front on defense. They got some dudes on the back end of that defense as well. I think they're going to have a big edge there. And while there were some puzzling moments maybe from Oklahoma offensively that I would say against the Michigan defense do concern you some, I will trust their offense to make a few more plays with a veteran quarterback in there and John Mateer. I don't think it's a blowout. I think it's a competitive game, but I will take Oklahoma to get the win at home. Vanderbilt to Virginia Tech. The Hokies last week played a game with South Carolina that, look, defensively they had some nice moments. Their offense moved the ball but couldn't really punch it in the end zone. Ultimately, a special teams error is what sort of does them in there late, giving up that punt return touchdown. But we're competitive with South Carolina for most of the game, even though the final score looks a little bit more in favor of the Gamecocks. Vanderbilt completely blew out the FCS team that they played in week one. Obviously, a season ago, Diego Pavia and the Doors were able to get the win early in the season against Virginia Tech, which really sort of kick-started the big year for them. But this time it's in Lane Stadium. I think Vanderbilt is still probably a pretty solid team, but Virginia Tech, I will say, they didn't impress me against South Carolina. I mean, they only scored 11 points, but I came away from that game thinking they're not as awful as I maybe thought. Christian, which way do you go?
It is a tricky game because I don't want to say it's a trap game for these teams, but I think if you're picking this game, it's a trap pick. Think about it. You got Vandy, who's on a roll, who's on a mission this year to be one of the better teams in the SEC. They're sick of being at the bottom. You got Diego Pavia and company back. But you got Virginia Tech coming off a tough loss to South Carolina. Defensively in that game, I thought they looked pretty good. Offensively, not so much. It's very weird to see this in a way because if Virginia Tech loses, they're going to be 0-2, and this is a team that I think can be competitive and compete in the ACC a little bit at least. Maybe 6 wins, maybe they make a bowl. Forget it. Give me Vandy. Give me Vandy. I just think they're the better team. I think they got it at quarterback with Pavia. I think they got some good weapons. This could be a battle. This could be a really close game. Good one to watch, but yeah, I'm more comfortable with Vanderbilt right now.
I want to check something real quick here. I don't think it's going to change my pick, but I'm just curious about something. So this is great. Doing a great job here on the show. So last week against a running quarterback in Lenore Sellers, obviously he had the one good touchdown run where he bowled a guy over. But Virginia Tech was able to give Lenore Sellers a lot of problems and mostly contained him throughout that game. And South Carolina's offense did not have a great showing. And I think they probably have more talent top to bottom than Vanderbilt did.
Yeah.
Defensively, I thought, well, on the other side of the ball, Kyron Drones doesn't blow me away, but they got some receivers who made some plays. I'm going to take Virginia Tech here, and I thought Virginia Tech looked more competent than I thought they would in week one. And I know Vanderbilt obliterated the opponent they played. I am doing a little bit of I'm going to mix up my stock market terms here, but I guess I'm selling high on Vanderbilt. I feel like there is some regression to the mean possible for them. I don't think they're a bad team. Their defense is probably still solid. Pavia, yes, can be a guy who's a playmaker quarterback. They have the tight end who's a good player. I get all of that. I think they will be competitive. But I also think they were very lucky last year to be a bowl team when you look at how their season played out. They had a lot of things go their way throughout the season, including this. This was one of those games that was close for them. I'll take Virginia Tech at home.
Okay.
It'll be a competitive game, but I've got the Hokies getting the win. So we've already got a few differences on here. That'll be fun to look back on in a week. Another fun game, number 11, Illinois. Don't know the last time the Illini were ranked that high, going on the road to Duke. Duke kind of looked iffy in the first half against Elon, not Musk, but in the second half really turned it on and pulled away. Illinois, I don't even remember who they played, but I think they handled business for the most part throughout that game. What do you got?
Could be a close game. It is on the road, but I like Illinois. They're ranked up there in the top 15 at number 11. Luke Altmaier looked pretty good last week with 3 touchdowns. That running back too, Aiden Lawtree, 2 touchdowns. Thing is, man, Duke wanted to throw the football last week, and they looked really good with that Mensa. I guess is his last name, that quarterback.
Darian Mensa.
Yeah,
Tulane
looked
transfer.
really good. This could be a really good offensive battle. But I like Illinois.
I'm going to take Duke.
Okay.
I'm riding with the home team here. I'm sort of favoring a lot of the home teams in these matchups. I think Duke's offense is legit. I know they kind of got off to a slow start, but I mean, they kind of showed it a year ago. I trust the system that they run there. And Illinois, look, I get it. They're a very good team, got a lot of key pieces returning, but I don't know. I think this could be a tricky spot for them. I'm just going to call a shot, go with the Blue Devils in an upset. We get the Cyhawk game, or as many of us love to refer to it, El Assico, the greatest rivalry name that there is. Iowa at number 16, Iowa State. Goskowski, the quarterback for Iowa, did not look good in week 1. Iowa State has had a couple wins under their belt, obviously playing that Ireland game, so they're a little bit more settled in. Can Iowa bounce back and get more out of their offense, which is the thing we've been asking for the past 30 years, but they think this is the year they're supposed to have an offense because of the quarterback who didn't play well in week 1? I'll just go ahead and make my pick. I'm taking the Cyclones at home.
I agree, and I hate that I agree because I got a bet with the one and only Uncle Lou that Iowa hits their over on their win total. I need them to go 8-4 or better so I can win me like $20 or whatever we bet. But I don't think this is going to be one of their 8 wins. Give me Iowa State. I just think they're a better team. Iowa, I will say, over the past couple of years, has figured out a little bit better offense. Always elite defense over at Iowa with Kirk Ferentz, but yeah, I still don't. I still don't. Like Iowa in this game. Rocco Becht and company for Iowa State are going to be rocking. So, I like them. They're off to a hot start this season, and even though the Big 12 is really wide open, it wouldn't surprise me if Iowa State ran the table and won the conference.
We'll go with another Big 12 team taking on an in-state opponent that happens to be in the ACC, Baylor, on the road at number 17, SMU. Baylor obviously plays that crazy game against Auburn where Jackson Arnold runs for 1,000,000 yards. Kevin Jennings and the Mustangs handle business in week 1. Should be a fun game. 2 high-powered offenses going at it with each other. Who do you take?
Only because it's hard to see Dave Aranda and Sawyer Robertson and company. Close game. I'm gonna go with the upset here with Baylor. I can't see them getting off to an 0-2 start, man. I don't think they need that. I don't think they want it. And I mean, when's the last time a team like Baylor actually did that? Now SMU's the better team. They're at home. They probably have it all put together for them to win this game, but I feel like Baylor after that Auburn loss is just going to be motivated to give it everything they got this week.
I don't know that SMU is the better team. I know they're at home and that they're favored, but I don't know. I think I kind of might like Baylor a little bit better top to bottom. I'm going to take the Bears. So I think we're in agreement there.
Awesome.
Both going with Baylor. Boston College at Michigan State. Interesting matchup. Bill O'Brien, every Alabama fan's favorite offensive coordinator. Dylan Lonergan going on the road and taking on Aiden Childs, and Sparty. I'll be completely honest with you. I know nothing about either of these teams other than who the quarterbacks are and who the coaches are. Like, I have not watched BC, not watched Michigan State, and I did not do any prep on either of these teams. I'm going completely off of vibes. I'm taking Boston College.
I don't care who wins. The only thing I know about Michigan State is I got a Michigan State fan that watches the channel and wants to talk to me every couple months, and it's been a couple months. So, and I haven't heard from him this week on this game or anything. So, I have no idea. I think these are mid-level teams, 6 or 7 wins for both of them. I do like Jonathan Smith. I think he's turning around Michigan State, but where'd you say this game was? Because my slogan is "When in doubt, take the home team."
It's in East Lansing.
Give me Michigan State, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm taking Boston College, but again, I don't feel one way or another. And finally, a game that we have previewed ad nauseum. We obviously made predictions earlier in the week, although I think my score is slightly different now. But we will close out with the Mississippi State game as Jalen Hurts just scrambles because he's incapable of doing anything other than scrambling. Number 12, Arizona State on the road at Mississippi State. Again, huge opportunity for the Bulldogs. Blackout game in Starkville. Should be a really good crowd, should be an energized crowd. A chance for Jeff Lebby to make a statement win here early in his tenure and really propel the rest of the season and potentially his tenure going forward. I'm not putting the same pressure on this game as I think a lot of people are, but there's no doubt it's a big one and a big chance against a good opponent. Christian, which way do you go? You did pick the Bulldogs earlier in the show.
I did. I gotta stick to it, man. You hit on it earlier in the week. You hit on it tonight. We both talked about this game. Gonna be what'd you say? It's a blackout in Starkville this weekend. So,
yep.
I mean, it's probably going to be a packed house. It's only a 6.5-point spread. It's not too big. It's not quite a 50-50 game. 46% chance for Mississippi State to win. They got to get some momentum, and I think Jeff Lebby knows that. I think all the pieces come together. This will be a close game, but I think the Bulldogs can get it done. Give me Mississippi State to roll the dice on Saturday night.
Score prediction.
Score prediction? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I had earlier in the week, but I'm going to scratch it and do a new one. I'm going to say I'm feeling 27-23 Mississippi State.
Okay. So Ballard is rolling with the Bulldogs. I'm going to take the Sun Devils and kind of go against my team here. Obviously, I'm pulling for State to win, of course. Look, I think State's going to be competitive and they're going to have a real chance in this game. I just look at it, though, on paper, the matchup to me favors Arizona State. I question about – I've got to see State's defense against a competent offense before I thought they played well Saturday. I felt like they had a good performance, but I've got to see them against a team that's got a threat like a Jordan Tyson, as well as a quarterback in Sam Levitt, who's as talented as he is. And then, are also a team that is going to be able to be more physical in the run game than a Southern Miss was a week ago, where State was able to just sort of really take away the Southern Miss run game and really limit them. What does that look like against a team like Arizona State? I don't know. So for me, it's sort of see it till I believe it mode when it comes to State defensively, because I still think that Arizona State's got a pretty big edge. And other side of the ball, State's offensive line concerns me. And the defensive front for Arizona State, I think, is going to be able to get enough pressure. I don't think State's just going to be able to line up and just run the football throughout. I hope. We'll see how they do. But I've got the Sun Devils. Close game, but I'm taking Arizona State 30-26. So for the week, we were different on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So of our 10 games, different picks for 5 of them. Some interesting matchups. We'll see how that looks for us when it's all said and done a week from now. Huge game in Starkville. We're looking forward to it. It'll be a fun one, I have to think. And hopefully the Bulldogs prove me wrong and are able to pull out a big win. And we'll hopefully the prediction's more in line with what Ballard's got over there. And we're looking at a Mississippi State victory. We will be back in the post game to recap whatever happens. So that'll be a little bit later night action for us, but that'll be a great way to cap off the night. As I mentioned with the Southern Miss game, not something where I'm going to be able to go live right away. Probably talking an hour or so afterwards, just depending on how quickly I can get post-game stuff up on Maroon and White Nation. That's sort of like, the first priority that I've got. But as soon as I get that stuff published and up, we will be in live on YouTube breaking down whatever happens for the Bulldogs against Arizona State. And then next week, we will be back to preview week 3, which will be a little bit different because that's going to be an Alcorn State game. So we'll probably be talking a little bit more about whatever happens in this one and big picture. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah. Appreciate everyone.
Hopefully we agree on next week's pick for.
I sure hope that we're agreeing on that one.
Yeah.
Appreciate everyone who was a part of the show tonight, participating in the chat, tuning in. We really do appreciate all of you. If you haven't already, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, turn that notification bell on so you know when we do go live, and share us. We want to continue growing this thing and reach more Bulldog fans going forward. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Christian, for hopping on. And this is the first time I'm going to do this, but I was told it doesn't feel right for me to not do it from those who listen to my old show. As always, swing your sword. Hail State.
See ya.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.